Welcome to the Rockhound Podcast. This week it's a special show and tell for our viewers. So, Karen, you want to go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, we'd like to welcome the Rocks as the stars. And of course, the viewers are the stars of the show this week. I'm Karen from Ozone Adventures, and we want to give a warm welcome to all of you viewers that are tuning in from your cars and from the mines and from wherever it is that you're tuning in from. And thank you so much for sending your submissions because you guys are the stars today. And who are you, Kurt?
My name is Kurt with the Rock.Hounding.Adventures out in Western Colorado. And what about you, Theo?
Just wanted to show you guys what I'm up to today. Have this big queen conch. Isn't that beautiful, by the way? Yeah, well, we did a thing.
Well, thanks for that, Theo. We need to get ourselves one of those shells, and we can have our own little call. So we can do a roll call next time. Theo will have one, and we'll all have one. But I'm Kyle with World of Rock Hounds, and that was a little intro. So let's do our shout outs.
Hey, if you missed it last week, Kurt's back. And so it was an awesome show, an awesome return show. It was super fun in the chat. Like folks from all over the world were popping in for the chat to say hey to Kurt and welcome him back. So thank you so much for hanging out in the Rock Nerd Club with us. And Tie Dye and Dawn was so stoked on Kurt's appearance that she went and subbed to his channel. If you haven't done that, go do that.
Cool. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. Mary Beth, Dustin Finds Rocks, Cliff Walker, Rock Hounding, Rock and Roll Rock Hound, Silverback, and Keith all were super stoked on the show. And of course, also welcome to Kurt back. Michael was checking in from Tumwater, Washington. New Zealand rocks down under, agrees about working outside, just not when it's raining. We were talking about, of course, where your studio can be or not be. Sandmaker was checking in at the beginning of the chat before the podcast started, and that disappears. I don't know if you guys noticed that when the podcast starts, any of the chat that happens before the podcast goes away. And so we have no idea in the world where Sandmaker is right now. I'm a little bit stressed.
He was over in Ohio. I jumped in right before the podcast started, and he said he was over in Ohio. So
right on. I saw that, and I had a moment of panic. Like, I don't know where Sandmaker is, and so it's a problem in the world. Okay, so you're not gone forever. Good. Michelle from Ontario, always checking in, and she got out hounding for the first time for quite some time after losing her four-legged pet, her companion. And so supportive. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing. And I'm so happy that you got out to do some rock hounding. And we all go with you. We all go with you when you go. We're all a big one happy family at this point, right? And she loved the new section, the segment of the hounding tips, the hound hacks. And so of course we have some more of those for you tonight. And those are the shouts.
Awesome.
I just realized I'll have to write down another hound hack for another time, but I just remembered it was a suggestion that I had a long time ago, and I want to bring it back up. So hopefully I don't forget, because I might.
You want to text it to me so that way I can send it back.
It's like write yourself a note to the future and back, right? When I'm 52, I want to know this thing.
Exactly.
So how was everyone's week and projects that you're working on currently and future projects? Karen?
Okay. It was an awesome week. I was so dramatic I was melodramatic last week that it was gonna have a storm and we were never gonna see the sun again, and it came back and it's been glorious here. And what happens in Oregon when the sun and the clouds and the rain shift and play in the autumn is mushrooms. And so we went for this awesome mushroom hunt and got a bunch of chanterelles. So we'll be having chanterelle stuffing for Thanksgiving, and I'm excited about that. And the pups and ducks are growing, so we're happy. I made the blue agate ring video, and so that dropped this week. And I'm editing a short for YouTube as well that are both of the rings from rough to all the way polished, but like under a minute, 2 rings and under a minute from this rock. And so that'll be fun. That should go out sometime this weekend. And then let's see, I accidentally watched a tutorial video, and I found myself in the middle of the night doing the project.
Accidentally watched a tutorial video.
Totally understand there.
Anybody out there understanding me? Do you feel me?
I get it.
Yeah.
And like that was like it's an ongoing rabbit hole. And so it's like when I perfect it, then I'll be coming out with a video. Like it's not ever going to be perfected, but when I feel a little bit more confident with the new skill. But I'm so elated that I'm kind of surprised I'm not doing a Theo right now and like working on it down here while I'm talking to you guys on the podcast. And so that actually is, I don't know how into trying new projects you guys are, because it's hard sometimes, like to try something new, especially if you're fairly proficient at other things, but it's such a rush. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
Never to learn a new thing.
Yeah. So it's been a super fun week. How about you, Kurt?
I've this past week has been really nice. I put out a video on my first like wire wrapping video, which I was not happy with because whenever I wire wrap, I do it right here, like where I can see everything going on, not way out here in front of the camera.
Oh.
So I was constantly pulling it back and forth on and off the camera. And this week I was actually doing another video of wire wrapping a Laguna lace agate, and I like had everything taped. I basically had the screen taped on the table to where I know where I can pull where I'm allowed to move around, and just do's and don'ts that I learned from the last week whenever I was videoing that. So I have a lot of editing to do on that portion, and was also able to get out on quite a few hikes. And after that cold front that we got, I want to say on Saturday that blew through, it like dropped from like 70s to 50s within like 10 minutes.
Ooh, wow.
And a lot of the fall colors are starting to show in the aspen trees and so forth. So we're going to be getting out. We just got out today and went on a nice, beautiful hike, and plan. I want to say this weekend and next week we're going to get out and do the same thing. Maybe go on a couple of rock counting hunts. Not fully sure, and so forth. But that's pretty much what I was doing in future projects, and I'm trying to still focus on like the lapidary and figure out new things to do. So, yeah. What about you, Kyle?
Well, if you're trying to figure out a way to like center like your camera, like where you know where to work, what I got is one of those those latex, or not latex, but those special like baking mats where like nothing really sticks to it, and I just use the backside of it so you can kind of see the silhouette of like the different circles, and that way it's not very prominent in the video, but you can just lay it down. That could be your workstation. And it allows you to kind of know like where to stay within. Also try to find one of those camera mounts that allows your camera to be over your workstation. I'm gonna try to invest one of those here soon because my broom handle makeshift one is. I
was gonna say you already have one, man. You totally engineered one.
It works, but it takes so much time to set up. If I were to go from the overhead setup to just a normal, just on top of the tripod, it takes so much time to set it up and change things around. It's like, ugh. So at some point I'm gonna save up and buy my own separate system, and I use like a bucket of agates.
You guys have this?
No.
I have something kind of like that, like what I'm using right now, but it doesn't have the little wire bendy thing between. It's just like set on the tripod. So
Yeah,
like
so there's
when-
like that guy back there. See
Mhm.
that guy?
Yeah.
So that's like I think that's the normal one that everybody uses. I found this thing online, and so it fits to any camera because it's got like this guy.
Mhm.
And you can attach this to anything. So I could attach it to the microphone stand. I can like that's
nice.
a cymbal stand back there.
Mhm.
That's how I get my overhead shots.
Okay. I have my tripod flipped upside down and legs going different directions to hold it in place. So
the panic spider.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
exactly.
I'd really like to have because they have the setups where you have pretty much 2 vertical poles on either side,
Yeah.
and there's like a long pole that goes like to both poles. Because I don't like having the camera attached to any of the tables that I'm actually working on, so I avoid like the shakiness. I mean, even with my computer set up here, like if I bump the table, you can kind of see a little bit like everything move around, and yeah, you don't want to have people
Stop
like,
the podcast. That was
Yeah.
unprofessional.
earthquake. But yeah, I think I'm gonna invest in one of those things, and I might even spend a little bit extra money. And they have those like special motorized mounts where you can put your camera on something and push the power button, and it very slowly moves.
It's like a remote control. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of cool to do like a different shot where it kind of goes either around. It's I think it's like a 2 or 3 wheeled system, so you can adjust it, so you can either go in a straight line or it can kind of do like a half circle. So
that's cool.
Might get a
Yeah, I
little
can
more.
pan around your sweaty forehead while you're trying to set the bezel or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, little tips and tricks for doing video filming. But yeah, my week has been pretty eventful. I don't know if I only told really a few people, but I was no longer in the property management field anymore. So I had a good week and a half of not doing much of anything except for projects. And then I got a new job. So I started that Tuesday. It's going to be a little bit different learning curve, but in a really good way. There's a lot of really better things about this job. So I'm in the process of learning a lot of new stuff. So I was trying to, and it's actually more better hours too. So I'm actually, since it's in town, I'm home a lot sooner than I used to be. And so I have a little bit of rest between the podcasts. I actually fell asleep on the couch before this one.
So literal. A little crash before the podcast.
Little siesta and a panic of where am I? What am I doing? Where's my shirt? Just where's this? But yeah, and then last night I taught a lapidary class, and that I'll be using that for my show and tell today. It's not my rock, but it was my students' rock. It was initially going to be one class, but it turned into a 2-person class, and it was really fun. And
Nice.
Let's see what else. I'm in the process of redoing my fire obsidian necklace. I did the first video this week, and I make sure to listen to my viewers, and I did a little bit longer version of how I'm gluing the stone on the wheels. I probably didn't have to include the whole process, but why not? And then I'm not done with the silver work yet. I just did the bare necessities to get the basic shape in there, and then I'm going to work on that this weekend for hopefully next week's video. And that might be a little bit of a longer video itself, maybe. I might have to do some fast forwarding on that one because it's going to be a long process. Silver work is a little bit more lengthy.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
Yeah. You have all those fancy little Dremel bits. I don't. I do everything mostly by hand. Just a little half of wooden clothespin and some strips of sandpaper, and just.
Yeah, those are built for Fordham, built for whatever rotary tool you have. And yeah, they I think you're talking about the silicon sanding barrels and discs, and yeah, those things are an absolute panacea to anything that ails you. I think it cures everything. Yeah. So.
And then the other thing is too is I want to add something more to this pendant, and I don't have the funds to pay for it. But I've been wanting to get one of those metal punch sets. I want to get Viking rune punch set, and it'd be really cool to add like runes on
on the side,
on the bezel. Yeah, and so
you could engrave them and then do a liver of sulfur bath.
Oh, I don't even have any of that.
Liver of sulfur is like
what does that bath do to it? Like, is it?
Okay, like really quick in a nutshell, liver of sulfur is like these nasty sulfur chunks that you get in a little can, and actually there's some like right there, and and you have to, like, it's a thing that you do outside because sulfur, like, it's serious. You don't want to do this thing inside, but you take your project, and so say you did an engraving, so you've got probably little diamond burrs that are for engraving on your Fordham, right? And so you could do the rune, and then you go like, yeah, I like the way that the rune looks, but I don't like the way that the engraving grit looks into the silver, right? And so when you give it the liver of sulfur bath, you warm up the water, you put the sulfur bit in, and eggy nastiness like forms a fog cloud around it, that you have to pinch your nose with those pliers, and you drop your project in, the thing turns black. And right, you've probably, I don't know, like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's how you turn projects black. And then with either steel wool or sanding bits or hand sanding or however you want to do it, you take the black off, or you take the black off of where you want to take it off of, but anything that's indented, the black is going to stay, and it is permanent because it's an oxidation of the silver.
I should
wow, that was like a longer nutshell than I thought.
There's a solution you can get on Amazon. I think it's like $10 for like a bottle, and you just pour it into a cup. I think you mix a little bit of water with it, and then you just dip the piece into that, and then pull and let it sit for like 10 seconds, and then pull it out. And it's the same thing, like what you're talking about.
That'll do it, but it's not Tenacious D. Like, if you if you want it to really, like, because I want to be able to scratch it. Like if it's on earrings or something like that, I want like, or a ring, or like I want it to stay. And so the actual sulfur rocks, like they do the trick. Like you're gonna have a hard time getting that off. And
I've also seen some like I was looking into that, using sulfur to like change like the color and so forth. I've seen people where they like boil eggs, and then they put it in like a Tupperware container, and they put whatever jewelry, whatever in with the eggs, and they close it up and stick it in the fridge for like 24 hours, and then pull it out, and it's a different color. But I'm pretty sure it smells pretty bad too. Yeah. You can try that if you want. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm sharing that.
That would make a great
I just
video.
saw it, and I just thought it was so funny.
The eggs. You're like,
I know, it's kind of a waste of hard-boiled eggs. But yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to do something like that to my pendant, because this is the longest I've gone without wearing it since I made it, and so this is literally, I took everything apart and starting from scratch, and so I'm looking forward to getting that project done. And I think that's really the only future project I have in the works other than customer projects. I think that was it for my future projects. So I think that's all of us. And Theo's, of course, he's away still. He is very, very busy after his little fair, after his little Ren Fair. Yeah. And so he is knee deep in getting rocks ready for
misery.
Yeah. Poor guy. I'd help you if I could, but I live a little too far away.
Yeah.
But so that is our little part, and I think our next part is going to be show and tell. If you guys are ready for show and tell.
Sure.
So, Karen, we're gonna start off with you.
We are starting off with me. Okay, so Gordon Sherwood sent me or all of us here at the round table this incredible looks like the side of Jupiter picture, and you're going, that's not a rock. And it is. And actually he thinks he challenges that there might be a hidden picture in there. So I kind of went like cross-eyed, those pictures that you used to like need to, go sort of cross-eyed to see some like a dinosaur or something like that in the picture. I was taking quite some time. It kind of looks like the eye is Sauron or whatever. But so he says it's a spherulitic rhyolite. Wow, that I didn't have problems with that before, but I am now. And he says that it's his favorite local rock that he fossics. And so guess where he's from? He's a fossicker. I love it. And you know what? Rhyolite's one of my favorites too. So I'd be right there down on the ground with him. And so this example has a field of view of about 10 millimeters. And you can see how detailed it is. It's just on fire. I mean, that's just an incredible, it looks like a, computer graphic. And so thank you so much, Gordon, for sharing that. That's a super duper good show and tell. Thank you.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like really like sunflowers in a way.
Yeah.
That's what kind of like looks like to me, like some kind of like old dried sunflower that's been preserved in a rock.
What about you, Kurt? What does it look like to you?
That's really
Isn't
cool.
that crazy? And that's
yeah.
a 10 millimeter section of rhyolite. So
that's really cool.
It's super detailed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It looks like it looks like different suns, kind of like different sun symbols.
Yes.
But the detail features are like really crazy, really cool, very beautiful.
Indeed, Gordon.
It really is.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to get that in, and so thank you, Gordon, for that awesome picture.
Thank you.
And next we have some moss agate from Cliff Walker Rockhounding, and this stuff comes from see here, Agate Ridge in Canada, from next to a volcano, an old volcano.
On a volcano.
Yeah, on a volcano. And this stuff is absolutely beautiful. It's just mossy, and it almost part of it looks like it comes from, to me anyway, because we have a lot of like moss agate like thunder eggs here in Oregon, so it resembles some of that moss agate material. But no, it's beautiful stuff. And he sent us a few pictures, so I'll do a little slideshow of all these pictures in between us talking, and if I run out of things to say, then we'll just keep the pictures going.
Well, the clarity of the agate, a lot of times with some of the material that we have here in Oregon, it's really riddled with the mineral that is creating that mossiness, right? Mm-hmm. And what's beautiful about this mineralization that is in his Cliff Walker's agate is that it's very open, and the agate is very clear. It's like more chalcedony than it is agate. I would wonder if he's got fortification lines going in there. And I know that he's talked about some of it actually being opalized. I think there's one of the pictures that has some pink in it that's got some opal. And so I think that that's what's really genuinely interesting a lot of times about good moss agate is that there's a clarity to the chalcedony or the agate that's got the moss in it, so that you can see the details in the moss, instead of it kind of being befuddled.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's really neat about this stuff.
Yeah. And all moss agates just make beautiful cabs anyway.
Yeah, just bar none. Agreed. I'm a fan.
So thank you for all those awesome pictures and sharing it with us. It was really awesome for you to do that. Kurt.
Yeah. So I got a Michael Wallahy. He sent some pictures of an agate that he found when he first got out. His first month of rock hounding. He was out in Washington on the Yakima River.
Yakima?
Yeah, I guess.
That one.
I can't pronounce it. Yeah. River in Wapato, Washington. And I was looking at all the pictures that he sent, and I think on picture 3 where it shows the Druzy pocket, the Druzy quartz pocket, the 2 little eyes there, it kind of looks like a face.
I love it.
It cracked me up. It's very beautiful, very cool agate. The style of the agate kind of reminds me of the agates that Gravibar finds down there in Louisiana, but instead of yellow, it's white. So, but it's a very, very beautiful agate, and that's an awesome find for your first rock first month of rock hounding. So congratulations on that, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, super cool.
I'm looking at it now, like that one with the 2 eyes, like
Yeah. It's unmistakable.
Exactly.
It's definitely a monster face, and
Yes.
it's so heavily fortified. I mean, that if you cut that, it would be so fancy.
Yeah. The white going around the Druzy pocket, and this is like the lips and so forth. But yeah, that's super cool.
That almost polished the way it is.
Yes,
Kinda,
exactly. Yeah. I like agates and rocks that have those faces in there for you to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how Cookie Monster manifests
I
itself
know.
in agates so many times.
I know.
How did the Muppet Show know?
I know. Exactly.
Karen, back down to you.
Okay, so Mary Beth, this was a cool one because Mary Beth actually she emailed me to get some information. Maybe I would be able to help her to identify this. Let's see. Okay, and so here it goes. It's interesting because we've had some guests on the podcast that are from the Great Lakes, and they show us a lot of these rocks that are corals that are they Petoskey stones? Did I say that right?
Petoskey.
Petoskey. Like I haven't been back east, and I only ever read them, and I'm from the West. And so she sent me these pictures, and I'm like, there's some dudes back east that would probably be able to do a better job of this, but it looks so much like a coral. And what do you guys like weigh in on what you think? It's just like really interesting geometric shapes that are lined with that red. And
I think it is.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm here looking at the pictures on my computer. But yeah, it does look like, even if it's like more of the base material of coral, so it's not as prominent, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
although like picked up some beautiful oxidation, like the iron that's in between like the different corals and stuff like that, or the different I'm not sure exactly what genre of coral that is, but I thought that they were gorgeous stones to begin with, and she did too. And so Mary Beth, thank you so much for sending those in. They're gorgeous. And anybody who knows for sure, like if you have specimens just like this, or you're from back east in the Great Lakes area, go ahead and throw it in the comments, what your vote is. Like we love, group knowledge is better than individual. So let us know. What do you think?
Yeah. And also that stone took a really nice polish too. Just nice and shiny.
Oh yeah.
Is that all you think about?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Of course you do.
I like shiny. Shiny is good. So that comes back down to me, and we have up next Dustin from Dustin Finds Rocks. So earlier, Cliff Walker Rock Hounding, that's a YouTube channel, and so is Dustin. Dustin has his own YouTube channel, and he finds a lot of Missouri Druzy quartz and very beautiful specimens. He also recently got a tile saw too. He started cutting a bunch of stuff up, so there's gonna be a lot of pictures, and I'm gonna start adding them in now because there's a lot of pictures, which I'm not complaining. Thank you, Dustin. These are all awesome photos.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Should check a spot with a lot of brush and weeds. I picked out a spot with a cedar tree and a bunch of tall grass. When I walked up to it and moved the grass aside, this patriotal beast was just sitting there face up. These 500 people had walked right past it countless times, including myself and Brian Major. What?
What?
That's crazy.
What?
Dropping a name.
Man, Brian missed it.
How is that possible?
And
Hey, man,
Dustin got it.
Yeah, Dustin, good on you, man.
Oh.
This one is definitely going to in the personal collection. I hope you got Brian to autograph that.
Sign it,
Oh yeah,
right?
totally.
That would not get the polish.
With a Dremel tool, just that way it's really engraved in there. It cleaned up amazing with pressure washer and soak and iron out. Each crystal is a strong individual and blends perfectly into the larger collective. We could learn from them. Imagine how ugly these formations would be if the crystals were fighting each other or too weak to have a defined shape of their own. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And then, and all these other photos coming in behind that are other rocks that he would have cut with his brand new tile saw. He's never done lapidary before, so he's getting his own equipment. So good on you, Justin, for starting to build your own stuff up, because it all starts with one piece of equipment, and you can just build up from there. So thank you, Justin, for those. And yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on all those finds there?
Awesome. You know,
Oh yeah.
I've never seen so many crystals in my life. Like Dustin brings them. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, those red lace agates that you found that you were telling me about in emails are super beautiful, and yeah, I can't wait to get down to Missouri and find some of those with you, man. They're very beautiful, very crazy pieces.
Yeah, hopefully we see you over there. Be a really good collab.
Oh, I know it would.
So, Kurt, you're up next.
Yes. Okay, I know. Hold on, let me pull it back up. So this is from Randy, the Sandman. Nope, Sandmaker.
Yes.
Karen, you got
I know.
me
I
on saying.
X'd on that one.
Let me pull up the email. Basically, he was saying that he found. Where is it? Hold on. I'll do it without the email. Basically, Randy said he was near St. David, Arizona, out in the desert, and him and his wife came across some gypsum selenite crystals, and he took this one. He sent a picture of a crystal that is too soft to really do anything with, so he ended up wrapping it in some gold wire, and it turned out very beautiful.
Oh.
I love like the gypsum selenite crystals that are very beautiful. I love the extremely beautiful rainbow inclusions that take place in them. The colors are very vivid. So the pendant that he sent a picture over is extremely beautiful. You did a fabulous job wrapping it, and so forth. Arizona is always a great, always another great state for rock hounding.
Absolutely. What I thought was really neat about the approach to his piece was that the gypsum was left rough, and the wire that he chose looks like square. And so it actually repeats the texture, that repeating cleavage of the gypsum is repeated in the angularity of the wire that he chose. And so I love that, it mirrors the texture of the stone, and there's something really aesthetically, perfect about that piece. I love it. Good job, man.
Yeah, did an awesome job with that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Karen, you are next.
All right. Well, we have a rare and unusual viewer up next. His name is Theo.
What?
And what?
Who's that?
He watches so much, he's actually part of the cast. And this is a TP Canyon agate slab, one of the results of his hunts in South Dakota that he did recently. These agates are just phenomenal, he says, and contain amazing fortifications, which is actually redundant. If you're looking at the picture, you're probably already realizing this. So he's actually making a video on this particular material that will be coming out on Saturday. How perfect.
What?
Today is Friday. And okay, so shameless plug there. You can check this out. And what's even better, he says, is that the rest of them make this one pale in comparison. So gonna have to check that video out. And honestly, I couldn't wait to announce this one because this material is just drop dead gorgeous. I know I'd be squealing if I was finding this in the field, and I'd be making like bats crash and stuff like that, So
I wonder if I have some of this in my collection.
Oh, what? Stop it.
He's like,
yeah. The Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to search my collection later because I think I have like a couple pieces of this, probably outside somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
I gotta come inside.
Yeah. Time for me to look through my rocks this weekend.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. So that's a TP Canyon.
I have some of that.
All right,
But,
everybody. I'm feeling a little diminished here.
Well, if I have two pieces, I'll send you one.
I got some from a subscriber, Jim Yoni. I don't know if y'all have done any rock trades with him. He sent me a bag full of them.
Nice.
Yeah,
he seems like he's a regular watcher though.
He is.
Hey. Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Shouts. Yeah.
I guess that comes back down to me for it's also Theo.
Weird.
I know.
He's everywhere.
So Theo sent us a few things to kind of pick through. So Karen picked the TP agate, the TP Canyon agate, and I picked the this egg that he made. So this egg
not personally. He didn't personally make that egg. Like,
oh, that'd be trick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But this egg is made out of a septarian nodule, and he picked a pretty fine stone to do that. He hand shaped it using a traditional old-fashioned methods: a Dremel, angle grinder, and a flat lap. It is a septarian nodule that he found at one of his fossil sites, loaded with yellow calcite crystals. One can take advantage of such soft stones to force a very cool effect with septarian. Do your final polishing grits with 1500 and 2000 grit sandpaper. This keeps the limestone at a matte polish, but gets the calcite to a brilliant shine, which causes a wonderful contrast in sheens and makes the calcite really pop. And of course, you all know that Theo is very talented with carving, so he did a very fine job. And I forgot to write down the time when I started talking.
Whoa, that was weird. Sorry, like on my screen, Kyle like glitched, like his face was there, and then he like turned away, and his like neck was moving around, and his face was just sitting still.
No.
It was kind of freaky. And then
That's actually how he's
back.
feeling right now. Yeah.
I'm sure.
We all know that feeling after we just woke up from a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle's actually in the new Matrix,
Right.
with Keanu. Yeah.
I'm Theo. No, wait, I'm Neo. I'm leaving that in.
That stays in. That's hilarious.
Anyways, Kurt, we're going back down to you.
Okay, so the next guest, his name is Matt Iguana. I don't have the pictures. I can't look at them right now because they're on my phone and I'm using my phone to video. But anyways, he sent me a couple of pictures of two thunder eggs. I think if I remember correctly, they are canyon rim thunder eggs. They're in Oregon, I think. Does that sound
you-
familiar?
Yeah. Did you share it to our chat?
Yeah.
I'm looking then.
There are two thunder eggs. One is like, I think he said it was 26 pounds. The other one was about 43 pounds that he purchased from the Family Stones in Southern Oregon, which is a Facebook rough rock sale
And
group.
I think he named
And,
them Betty and
Martha.
Betty and Bertha.
Yeah. Bertha was the 43-pound one, and
Little
the
sister
other one
was
was
Betty.
26. Yeah.
Did you watch his
Did.
video? Is that
Huh? Yeah. But I think the one that was Bertha, the larger one, had a lot of agate mixed in with the thunder egg with I think some amethyst as well, which was very beautiful thunder egg. And the smaller one was also very, very beautiful. But he purchased them, I want to say a few weeks ago on the Family Stones live rock show on Facebook, and then the other day took them yesterday on Wednesday. This week he took them over to the Grand Junction Rock and Mineral Club and had them cut open, which he sent me a video of. And then I'm not gonna. I don't think I sent y'all the video because it was too long of a video, but for me to like download it and send it. But I think I sent y'all pictures. But it turned out very beautiful.
amazing? Just gorgeous. And amethyst is fairly rare here.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that because normally whenever I see thunder eggs from like y'all's area, it's normally like contains like agate and I think jasper and then like opal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen one Richardson's thunder egg that had amethyst in it, and it's rare. Like it's super
It's
rare.
so rare. You know, you're more likely to get purple material over on the Steens. Like there's a fair amount of just little occurrences there. But even then, you know, I'm super stoked if like the druzy on something has like a lavender cast, you know, that you wouldn't even call really amethyst. You're like, oh, it's got like a tinge of purple. Oh my gosh, you know, and so yeah, it's pretty rare.
Well, yeah, that those pieces are very beautiful, Matt.
Gorgeous. Thank you
Maddie.
for sharing.
So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm glad you got a rock collection going and so forth. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. And we are now down to the final part of show and tell. So Karen, take the lead.
Oh my gosh. All right. So last week I show and told a piece of jasper that was not a piece of jasper. It's also got some thread coming out of it. Why? You know, it looks so much like jasper, but it's a piece of petrified wood. And so being me, I actually cleaved it. And so yeah, what? It cleaved perfectly on its the lines of actually Kyle had asked me if it was a round cut. And so this is actually where the cross cut would be. And so this is transverse. And so the radial and the tangential actually cut exactly where it was supposed to. That is so
Awesome.
crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. You
That's
know,
cool.
and so it actually ended up doing the science for me. And so I threw them under the microscope because that's what I'm supposed to be doing with this stuff. And I've got two specimens. And one of them, the more colorful one first, is first 100X. And you're seeing a bunch of the just gorgeous vessels coming through the wood. And
Ooh.
and then when you get a little closer, you can see this is agatized. It would be considered agatized wood. The permineralization isn't like more carbonization or mummification or opaque stones. It's if you cleave any piece of this, it's actually going to be translucent. And so the agatization actually chose to line in the permineralization some of the vessels. And so you can see in the second picture, these vessels just like very intricately lined with the mineralization. That's not dye. And usually you have to dye a slide to get that kind of I don't know, input from the cellular structure. And then the second two slides are 100 magnification, where you can see cells. And this always just like throws me straight over the top, is when you can see like the little donuts. And so these are cells with the donuts, and they're all lined up. And this is when, like I was telling Kyle about his mystery wood, you can start identifying a piece of wood pretty specifically. If you can see the way that the cells are lining up, that's like a signature, like your fingerprint. And so Douglas fir has usually two, and I'm looking for something that's a really big piece of wood, because these the lines across this are like maybe 3/4 of an inch for each growth line, so they're huge. And so we're talking about a metasequoia or a Douglas fir or something like that. And now we're getting the cellular structure too. So like we're like one leap closer. And so in the second slide, you see 250X, and that's just a closer look at the donuts. And so more information for Karen so that I can hone in on exactly what piece of wood this is. And so
Those donuts make you go nuts.
Absolutely true story. And then my little sidecar from last week was, we were talking about potential mobile lapidary studios, and I had mentioned a bus that well, actually Kyle mentioned a bus that he'd like to go ahead and outfit, and I'd love to see Kyle do this. And then we will have a convoy because this is our bus out on the Alvord Playa, which is right adjacent to the Steens Mountains. And so you can go and hunt those beautiful lavender, almost amethyst crystals just to the west of that location. And then there's this huge playa that you can go and camp on and do whatever, but go mountain biking. If you don't have a flat, that's what Steve's doing there. Fix a flat on the playa. But yeah, you know, I think Sandmaker was talking about doing all of his lapidary out of an RV while he's on the road. And this dream of being able to just, you know, pop up at a certain location and sprack out your lapidary and all that. And so that's the rock hauling mobile.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I'm jealous.
You guys will get to it before I will.
I've actually been on the market.
You're all invited on the convoy, you guys.
I've been on the
super
market
fun.
looking for a van to do that. To convert.
You know
it.
what? The school bus is cheaper. Let me just say, yeah, and you get like a monster of an engine. We've got, like, I think I mentioned last week, the E350, and it's a diesel. And so you just like, man, once you roll that thing up, it's like not so bad on the gas, and you just roll down the highway, you gobble up the miles, and then boom.
Nice.
It's not a 4-wheel drive, but we've gone everywhere.
Nice.
I believe
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I used to drive my very first vehicle was an E150 cargo van, and I took that place. I took that thing in places where a 2-wheel drive vehicle should not go.
Right.
At one point, it was actually it was like before I had proposed to Amy, I saw this mud puddle with her, and I was going to go through this mud puddle. Don't do this, people. Just you see a mud puddle and you're like, oh, that looks shallow.
No.
Don't trust it, because like the back end of my van, the back end of my van was not touching the ground. And those vans are rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
So my van was
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was a funny story though. It's like I could propose tonight, but I think I'm not going to. It's
not
like
tonight.
She was stressed. I mean, I was actually surprisingly doing okay. She's like, how are you like it's like surprisingly calm? I'm like, it is what it is. This
Yeah,
it was
part
fun.
of the game. Yeah, you know, in that vehicle, we've you don't want to get any place where the rain will turn the dust into pancake batter, you know, and everybody knows that rule. And then another one where we were going up the snow, and there was somebody tailing us. I think we were going up I can't remember, just snow and ice. And I was like, yeah, but you got this. And he's like, no. Oh,
Oh man.
you're not sure. Okay. Yeah, new sphincter factor there, But anyways, that's my show and tell. How about you, Kurt?
For my show and tell, I went on a hike earlier this week and found a couple pieces of rhyolite mixed with some agate. First one is this larger one. Find a good angle on it. See if y'all can. Well, Kyle has pictures of it, but it's nice size of rhyolite with some agate fortifications on the outside and beautiful colors ranging from like blues to purple to orange and so forth. And then there's this other one. It's kind of interesting because I don't have a flashlight around me, but right there's like little thin fiery red agate veins kind of running up. When you put a flashlight underneath it, it lights up, so it looks like fire kind of going through the stone.
That's cool.
And like my camera won't focus in on it, but yeah, it's very cool pieces. Very cool pieces. This one I'll save for you, Karen, and this one I'm gonna throw in the tumbler. And I have some others I picked up. I'll put aside for you and Theo. So
nice. So these are from Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you guys get thunder eggs in your area?
So I was talking to one of my subscribers. I want to say a couple months ago. He sent me a message down near, I think it's called Salida or something like that. It's like central Colorado, about 2.5-3 hours from here. There's a place where you can find thunder eggs, which is cool because I want to go check that out.
Do it.
Because that's so familiar, as far as like that rhyolitic, highly silicified material.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's burgeoning on wanting to be thunder eggy, and a lot of the places like, at Richardson's, I remember being told to dig in a certain place, and we were coming up from like ribbons to the eggs, and so you could crack like this ribbon of the material coming up before it like started doing like the big bubbles. And I've got some bubbles that are also tied together with some of those ribbons. And so it's so interesting. Your area, how much investigation have you done? Is there any chance?
Not much. I want to explore the state more. But I haven't really been able to explore that part of the state. I want to go more towards like the Colorado mineral belt, more of the center of it, where like the Lake George, Pikes Peak area, Colorado Springs, all that area is supposedly a lot of minerals in that area. So I plan on getting out to that part of the state, hopefully next spring. So yeah, and I want to go find some of the Amazonite and smoky quartz.
Do it.
And I have a piece somewhere right here somewhere. I don't know where it went. It was right here, but yeah, I hope to get to that part of the state next spring, hopefully.
We'll look forward to it.
Latest, yes, yeah. But how about you, Kyle? So
my show and tell is not my rock per se. So I did a lapidary class last night. And it was going to be one class and turn into a 2-person class. And I always encourage people to, if they want to bring their own material, they're more than welcome to. Because I initially called the class a cutting and polishing class. But then since I did that, it kind of limited it to like cutting and polishing. So I changed the name to cutting and polishing class just to lapidary. That way, if someone wanted to just take a basic rock and grind it down really quick and polish it, they can totally do that. So they had brought some polka dot agate slabs to cut into cabs and make some cabs out of. Well, they felt more comfortable to practice with a slab that I provided. And I'm like, yeah, we can definitely do that. That way, if something goes wrong, at least it's going to be on this slab and not your own slab. And they chose a dendritic agate slab. I'm not exactly sure of the location, but here are the pictures of both the cabs to get together, and then I'll show the other ones more individually here in a second, but they turned out beautiful. And my favorite part of doing these classes is seeing the people's reactions when they go from a more rough, like slab state to each stage where it gets smoother and smoother and shinier and shinier. They get so excited to see that transition from rough to beautiful, and that is probably the best part of the class is seeing their excitement that they did this. And so it was really fun, and they picked really good material to practice with, and they went home with it. And they mentioned that they would like to come back and spend some more time. And that's one thing I offered is for people to, if they want to come back and continue to practice and under my guidance, I offer them a discount to come back and do so for up to 2 hours of my time. So um, I think I'll keep doing it.
Nice. And
Like you said.
congratulations to you students. That's a
Yes.
gorgeous
Yes.
couple
Yeah.
pieces,
Well-
very, very nice job.
But other than that, we're all done with show and tell. We made it to the end of the video. So now, well, not really to the end. We still have a couple more things to do. So we're going to go over hound hacks. So Karen, take it away.
When you hack, you want to hack safely. So make sure that you have safety glasses. But even more importantly than having the safety glasses is the point that I had last week was it's really nice to get a closer look to your material. So carry the loop or the hand lens, the jeweler's loop. You have 10 and 20 or up to 40 usually magnification on a jeweler's loop. Check this out. These are safety glasses that have magnification. So, in old vernacular, they'd be called bifocals. Well, I don't wear those, but I sure love these because, as a jewelry maker, and if I want to get up close and have magnification of either that like super cool crystal in a vug or that little burr that's on my jewelry project, I'm wearing them and I'm being able to see that. And also, while I'm using my sander or using the Fordham or sawing or doing whatever, I am protected in the eyes. And so, of course, all the time, your safety protection is of utmost importance for lapidary, the eyes, and your breathing apparatus. And then if you can go ahead and maximize that with some magnification, then that's just gravy. So that's my hack.
That's a good tool all the way around.
I love it.
I guess that's me next. So my hound hack is just to make sure that you have a good backpack. And I'm not talking like a cheap like backpack you take to school. Just because if you're putting a bunch of like heavy and sharp rocks in there, eventually it's gonna tear through the material like it's nothing. Best go to, if you have like an army surplus store, find some really heavy duty canvas like army rucksacks. Like those are gonna be the best. I think I got the one I typically use for rock hounding at a local rock shop. He happened to have like army rucksacks there and those nice heavy duty canvas like backpack. Got a lot of nice pockets in there. It's waterproof, but for the most part it's pretty durable. And if I don't use that, then I have like a softer canvas side back that I would sometimes use. So usually for I think if I'm in the river or something, it's really easy to reach into the side bag rather than take the backpack off all the time. But have a strong, durable canvas bag of some kind, because not only you're putting your tools in there or your rocks, but you're also putting your tools in there and some snacks too. And like we always say, whatever you take out in the wilderness, bring back with you. So that's my hound hack.
That's awesome. I love that. And our current rock hounding bags, when we're down on the beach, are those side bags that you were just talking about, like a single strap from it's right over there, our army surplus waterproof canvas bag. And what's important about going down to the beach with ours is that you were talking about like being able to bring stuff back and everything. And of course, you want to have your snack and all that kind of good stuff. You take everything with you from your car that's of any like importance when you're at the beach because people break into your car.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
so you
always
know.
nervous about that.
Yeah. And so like I usually leave my car unlocked and I take, all of the, my keys and my I only bring like, my driver's license and like maybe some money or whatever, and that all goes in the bag. And that's got to be waterproof because I'm down at the ocean looking for rocks in the ocean.
Yep.
So with my phone and all this stuff. And so the importance, I love your point, Kyle, just bringing it back is that like have a bag that makes sense for the errand that you're doing. You're going either out in the wilderness or you're down to the beach or whatever. It's got to be able to carry safely all the gear that you want to take with you, plus the however many pounds of rocks you want to bring back.
Yep. But that was
I
mine.
use just regular backpacks, but I guarantee you, it's better to go with something that y'all are talking about because rocks cut through the pockets of just the regular backpack style, cut through the pockets all the time. And you're like, hey, I thought I put this in this pocket, but it ended up in this other pocket.
Or it's just gone.
Yeah.
Or it's gone. Yeah. I've had backpacks just snap right here because of the weight.
Well, I've had side pockets where I put the special things like, ooh, you're
Yeah.
really super good,
Yeah.
and put it
Yes.
in a side pocket that breaks, and you're just like,
yeah.
oh, it's this like you see a hole at the end and like there's just zero things in that
Yep.
pocket that you just were filling all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Kurt, what is your?
So mine is just basically like kind of like how Kyle last week was saying, bring a squirt bottle with you. Another good time to go rock counting is just after a rainstorm. Like hit up the beach, hit up the bank right after it rains, or like even while it's sprinkling, because then it's like a little bit of water all over the place that highlights everything. So it makes it a lot easier to rock hound.
Nature spray bottle.
Yes, nature spray bottle. I was trying to think of something kind of like that, but then I was like, no, that didn't sound good. No, that didn't sound right.
He's got a new sales position. He totally has the lingo.
Yeah. So it's kind of like just like they say, like if you're into like fishing, go after a rainstorm because that's the best time to catch a fish. Same thing with rock hounding. Go after a rainstorm, go after a sprinkle, and so forth. So
that's a great be prepared thing because a lot of times down on the beach, like we'll already be in our rain gear, at least rain pants, because you want to be able to take a wave to the legs. And it'll start raining and everybody leaves.
Yeah,
and you're like
why? There's rocks. There's rocks.
They're just coming out. They're just coming out right now, and everybody leaves so that you can find them all. You're like, that's
Or I did this, I think in like February or January when it was snowing. Like go when it's like when they're expected to be like a light snow, because if the ground is still warm, it'll more likely melt, and then so that way you're not getting wet, but the snow is melting and
I don't use rain gear.
That sounds awesome. I think I watched one of your videos where like you were digging around. Maybe it was one of the fluorite ones. You were digging around in like snow, and I was like, that's insanity, but it makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah, that works. I think. Did you have anything else to add on to your hound hack there?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Cool. So now we are at words of wisdom. You guys prepared this for this? Okay, cool. Karen, what do you got?
Okay, so I alluded to this at the beginning, and congratulations for making it to the end of the podcast. So I was talking about learning something new. I was so blown away at like how excited I had always wanted to learn this skill, and I saw a video come up as a tutorial, and I was like, if you don't do it now, you've talked about it in your head for like years and years and years, you wanted to do this. And so why don't you just do it right now? Because you're probably never going to do it. Like, just stop talking yourself down and just do it already. And it was funny because as the tutorial was going along, it was like, do you have like these pliers? check. This tape, check. Do you have this gauge wire or whatever? And I was like, oh no, I've got everything that I need right here, right now. It's like, it hit me over the head like a sledgehammer. Don't put it off until later. Do it now. And if you haven't, I always wanted to try that, do it. Don't wait for another day. And it's super good for neuroplasticities. There's so many things that a lot of people are really hesitant to try because they're a professional. They're already really super good at polishing or making super nice jewelry, or always like being able to perfect a certain project, and like everything always looks so good that you get a little freaked out about like failure, right? And when you learn, you're going to have some ugly projects happen. You're going to be like, oh, like what just happened? I was like burped up a total destruction. And don't let that get in your way. Like, you try something new, and do that thing that you have always been putting off for later, that like you always wanted to try. It's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, that's good advice. Well, I guess I'm next up. Let's see here. I kind of made my words of wisdom shortly after my nap. So mine is don't forget to rest, and don't forget to take time for yourself, because a lot of us have a lot of projects, we have work, we have family, we have everything going on. So it's important to take the time, rest, take a nap, take a day. It's helpful to get that quick break to refresh yourself, and then once you feel like you're refreshed a little bit, jump back into things. It's nice to have that little reset. So to kind of keep that in mind. So that was mine, short and sweet. And I have a cat that's meowing. Hold on one second. Okay, Kurt, what do you got?
Well, I wasn't sure which words of wisdom to go with. I'll just say, if you are new to the rock hounding hobby, or someone that is interested in it, like the rock hounding hobby is one of the best hobbies to be into. You're going out into nature. It's great for the soul, great for your mind, clear up your mind. You're finding these beautiful rocks on the ground. Just the full experience is just overall amazing. And then once you're bringing the rocks home, you can either tumble them, cut them up, make jewelry, all different sorts of things you can do in the rock hounding hobby. So it's a really good hobby to have. So get as many people as you know into it.
It's therapeutic.
Absolutely. Yes. I love it.
So,
but thank you for that. And
now, what about you, Theo?
Did Theo have
the horn again? Maybe play the horn again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's it for our words of wisdom. Karen, if you want to go ahead and take us out, unless you guys have something to add on before we head out.
Kurt?
Oh, I think I'm good.
All right. Okay, so we just would love to thank all of the viewers for sending in your beautiful rocks and stories and tuning in each week. Thank you so much. And of course, we're going to do another one of these. So if you didn't make it into this one, you can be part of the next one. Just go ahead and send in your rocks and your story to the rockhoundroundtable@gmail.com. And thank you so much for watching, and rock on, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.